Hi, this is EDL 856 case study. I'm Kyle Westerman. Starting with the facts, we know that the principal is concerned about a new parents organization that is happening in his community and with his school. We know the new parents organization had split from the national PTA. The principal had met with the representatives with the new parent organization. They had elected new officials for the organization. One of them was a young attorney that is the president of the new organization. We know that the new organization wanted to redesign the back to school night to have more parent involvement and to also give more detailed information to the parents as well. They wanted the school to sponsor a series of back to school meetings focusing on one or two subjects a night to give the parents more information on how their kids are being taught in each subject. We also know that the teachers must be available for the parent-teacher conferences each day that week, except for the night that they had to give their presentation. We know that the parents wanted to be involved in the meetings as well. The parents' organization wanted to become more involved in the decisions and policy-making processes of the school. They know that the school board had their own policies, but the parent organization wanted more power in that aspect. The parents believed that they should become equal partners along with the administration, the teachers, and the school board. And the local parents organization needed to play a greater role in developing and deciding on policies affecting their particular school. We do know the officers had a meeting the preceding week and established parents committees on discipline, teacher performance, curriculum, and total school evaluation. These were different things set up that the parents wanted to be involved in at the school. The committees had planned to observe conditions in the school, collect the data from students, parents, and teachers, and issue policy statements on the need for changes when they've collected all that data. What legal and ethical issues would be involved in something like this? As of right now, there is no harm to anyone yet because there's nothing that's been implemented. But in looking at what's going on in this situation, the first thing that came to mind is the privacy and confidentiality with FERPA, and you're not allowed to share information on students that aren't the parent or guardian of a certain student. And so if you had other adults or parents that were roaming around the school and watching different things and stuff like that, I think there could be some problems with the FERPA laws there and the legalities. With your Board of Education, they set up policies in place, and if those policies are there, I think it'd be hard in the short-term notice of changing those policies and just allowing parents to come in and sit through a class or, grading a teacher on how well they thought that they were doing in classes. And so those policies would be, broken if you were to allow parents to do as they wished in this scenario. One thing as a teacher that I really thought about when they talked about that first week of school or that first week of back to school is your negotiated agreement and your contract days. I know as a teacher being involved in those negotiated agreements that they set out, okay, these are going to be our parent-teacher conferences, and we're going to give you these days to do the parent-teacher conferences, but then you're going to get these days off. And I don't know if you could sit there and force teachers to break those contract days, negotiated agreements, and force them to show up to something that they had planned. One of the things I was thinking of is, where is the superintendent in this involvement? We don't know, why is the principal the one that is being talked to in this scenario? There's somebody above the principal, and that would be a superintendent, and why wasn't he or she involved in this discussion? And then again, when you're thinking about what kind of school would be doing this, or parents that would be doing this, is it a public school or is it a private school? Public schools, you have a little bit less, the parents have a little bit less power when it comes to forcing these issues, where in a private school they may have more power in forcing these issues. What exactly happened? What we do know is that a new parent organization was formed and wants the principal of the school to allow a parent organization to evaluate the teachers' school policies and allow them to make policies for the school as well. What facts are known and unknown? What people do we know? We know there's a principal. We know that there's a new parent group out there. We do know that there's a president of the parent group that is a young lawyer, and there are elected officials of this parent group in the meeting. The unknown people would be the superintendent. Where is he or she at? The Board of Education was not involved in this scenario at all. And we also do not know about other parents in the community and if they have the same feelings as this group. The unknown facts of the place. We know that there is a school. We do know that there's a principal's office. But what we do not know is what level is this school? Is it elementary? Is it junior high? Is it high school? Where has this new organization been meeting? Has it been meeting in the school or has it been meeting outside of the school? We know that there was a secret meeting to kind of put together a place or put together the different groups that they wanted to be in charge of different organizations in the school, but we don't know where this organization is meeting. And we do not know the demographics of the school. Is it rural? Is it urban? Is it a very large school? Is it a small school? Things like that that are unknown to us at the time. Known and unknown facts of the program. What we do know is that there's parent involvement in academics, evaluation, and policies. They want to be involved in the curriculum as well. They want to do some data collection in the school as well. We do know there's administration, teachers, and school evaluations in the program. What we do not know, again, is it private or is it a public school? And we don't know exactly what the Board of Education policies are for this school. Stakeholders, okay? This is potentially damaging, I believe, to the school just because you're having a parent organization that wants to be more involved in the process of pretty much grading teachers on how well they think they are and then creating the policies. And when you start telling somebody like a teacher that has been in education for a long time, not only do we have to get a degree on how to teach, but we also have to do our continuing education to learn more and more. We sit through a lot of meetings, a lot of time on our own to try to become better teachers. And when somebody from outside of the organization starts telling us how we should do our job, and I think that would happen in any industry, you're going to start having some clashes between the teachers and the community members that are wanting this to happen. And so I think there's some potentially damaging aspects to what's going on here. The outcome will affect the administration, the Board of Education, teachers, students, superintendent, and other parents as well, because we don't know. There could be parents that are completely against this. Who was not consulted, that are stakeholders, would be the Board of Education, the teachers, superintendent, and other parents as well. The questions that I have is, why is this change needed? There was no information on what happened prior to this, that they would have created a separate group, separate of the national PTA. And again, not knowing if it is private or a public school is huge, because you don't know how much power the parents have in this aspect. And then that also kind of leads back into the legality of things that are going on. If it's a private school, there may not be as many legal issues as there would be with contract days and negotiations with teachers as there is in a public school. And another question I would have is, why was the secret meeting about the back to school night, or actually turned into a week? And why wasn't this brought up to the administration prior to making decisions on it? So we have three possible options here. We have a do nothing, give in to the demands of the parent group, and we have a come to an agreement with the new organization. And I'll cover the pros and cons here in a little bit. Evaluating the options. The pros. So we have pros of do nothing. I mean, it's possible the problem goes away if the principal decides that he doesn't want to do anything. Highly doubtful, but it's a possibility that it does go away. And then the community continues to support the school even though they did nothing to give in to the demands of the parents. The other option would be to give in to the demands of the parents. And the pro there would be the parent organization is happy. And then the last one is come to an agreement with the new organization. You could possibly get a point where the parents and teachers are happy and you do not come into any legal issues at all. The cons of these three, the do nothing, the parents are extremely upset They look into the removal of the principal at that school. When you give into if you were to give into the demands, you do have possible legal issues with FERPA that I've discussed earlier, and then also the contracted agreement and negotiated agreement with the teachers and their contract days. And then you have a whole building full of upset teachers, and that does not go very well as an administrator in a school. That's something that you want to avoid as much as possible. And I think the best option with the coming to an agreement with the new organization, you may not have enough to please the new parent group. If whatever agreement that you come to, it may not be enough to please them as a con. But I do believe the best option would be to come to some new agreement with the organization. You explain the legal issues with FERPA, the contract days, the negotiated agreement with teachers, and you can't force new things or force meetings of teachers and not expect them to be compensated for their time. And so you need to explain those issues. The same thing with the FERPA and the protecting the rights of the students and their privacy issues there. We need to open up better communication with the parents. I think this is why the organization was created anyway, is that they felt like they were being kind of left out and they weren't getting as much information as they wanted to, because the first thing that was in the article, the case that we were reading, is that they left the back to school night still confused on what was going on and how their kids were being taught. So I think if you open up better communication there, that would help the situation a lot. And then I think personal invitations to board meetings, and then give them a specified time to share their concerns and allow them to get across what they are concerned about. And then including some teachers into those board meetings as well. And that'll give them a little bit more, I guess, stake into what's going on and understand what's happening in the school. The implementation of this plan, we need to meet with the superintendent and board members to discuss the parent involvement. I think those are two groups that should have been involved in the first place. I don't think that it should have gone directly to the principal with this new organization. They should have started at the top and worked their way down from there. But we need to get the superintendent and board members involved. The new back to school meeting that is more informational without breaking the negotiated agreement. So we need to talk to our teachers about, hey, let's do something that's more informational than just saying, hey, welcome to school. If you have any questions, email me. And so maybe have them come up with some kind of little presentation to explain how their class is formatted, how they're going to be grading, this, that, and the other. If they have time, allow them to do that at the back to school meeting. If they don't, throw it on the website, maybe send it out in an email specifically to the parents, and just somehow get more information out to the parents that want it. We do need to create better communication with the parents as well, because I think that's the ultimate goal in this new organization. And then again, invitations to board meetings with a specified time for their concerns. In linking these back to the standard components, I think the ability to communicate with parent groups can create a bond where they work together to make school improvements instead of conflicting and kind of headbutting each other, where maybe a parent group is forcing implementations onto the school that would cause conflicts. If you can communicate with the parent groups early, create a bond, and then they can work together and not against each other. Standard component 2. Again, I think the ability to communicate with parent groups can reduce tensions between the two entities, and that links back to using the resources that benefit the school programs. You engage with the community members when you do this as well, and you have shared goals, and again, you can only do that with two-way communication. And the last component, if you open up communication with parents in the community early, again, you can prevent tension between the community and school and hopefully create a positive and long-lasting partnership with them. Thank you, and have a great day.